gourds and pumpkins. It's a gorgeous time of year. I know.
Keep your day job.
I know. It's good to see you. Good to have you here, Pumpkin.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Sweet Tate.
See, I love gourd jokes.
Yes.
It's just fun. It's just fun. We're so glad that you joined us, and we could probably do this all day, which is why we're not.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to Amber Falls Winery. If you'd like to be a part of this show, reach out to our production coordinator, Mona Bagsby, at Main Street Media. We are located on the Main Street app, so you can download that for free by going to your app store and spelling out Main Street Media TV. Pops right up. It's free. You can see all of our shows there as well as on social media.
Discover one-of-a-kind wines in a special place naturally made for relaxation. Amber Falls Winery and Cellars. Descend into our underground cellar and taste award-winning wines. Cajun Best is one of our most intriguing creations. Real Cajun spices are used to give this sweet red blend its distinctive flavor. Get away to where good times and good wines come naturally. Amber Falls Winery and Cellars, where a great start leads to a great finish.
We're here in Lebanon, Tennessee with the Wilson County Master Gardeners. We're actually on a specific grounds. Most people know it as the Wilson County Fairgrounds, but it has a different name. It's actually called the James E. Ward Ag Center. And James E. Ward was actually the first county director from the University of Tennessee here in Wilson County. And he was a very notable person in agriculture history in Wilson County. So before we call the grounds the Wilson County Fairgrounds, it's called the Ward Ag Center after James E. Ward. It's actually made up of three groups: Fiddler's Grove, Wilson County Promotions, and also the Ag Center themselves. But we're specifically in an area called Fiddler's Grove with Carol Willinga, who's been a master gardener for a number of years here in Wilson County. And she's one of our tree stewards, and she's going to explain a little bit about what she does here in our Arboretum. And hopefully, Carol, you can give us a little history on the Arboretum here.
Well, I can give you a little bit of history. We were officially certified in 2014. But when we started to look into having an arboretum, we realized that nobody knew anything about trees. And so instead of going right out to the Tennessee Urban Forestry Council and saying, we want to be an arboretum, which actually the fairgrounds did, and they said, you have to have everything, signage and all this stuff. We did classes. We first educated ourselves, and then we had classes, which we first had for our Wilson County Master Gardeners, and then we opened it up for the state. Anybody in the state who wanted to come out and do that.
We're actually walking up on one of our butterfly sanctuaries, our Monarch Way Station, but we have plenty of arboretum trees surrounding it. I think this first one's actually a Zelkova.
It is. We had a sassafras right here, and it went down, hit the fence, and hit the garden. So that obviously is gone. To your right, there is, I know you're going to say it's a hackberry. Yes, it's a hackberry, but it's a sugarberry, which is a different variety. This right here to your left is a Thuja plicata. It's a big arborvitae, and I love it because Barbara Martinez used to be the tree steward for this one, and she was born in a Bavarian town, and they had a tree like this in the middle of town, and they called it the tree of life. Well, what does arborvitae mean? You know, tree life. So that's kind of cool. Up on this one, that means it's female. And the lady who did that, was a tree steward for that. She would put these little berries in her sauerkraut and make excellent sauerkraut. But it's mostly well known for flavoring gin. Also, making number 2 pencils. We were a big site for making number 2 pencils.
We'll keep walking around and you'll see one of the things for an arboretum tree, it'll actually have the label on the tree.
Yeah.
So a lot of our trees are not labeled. So that means there's probably one of some species somewhere labeled in the arboretum. So that was one of the main things. For it to be an arboretum tree, it has to actually be labeled in the gardens. And like Carol was saying earlier, it can't be an invasive species. So I would hate for someone to have a privet labeled or, a Bradford pear labeled somewhere. So here's another one right here in the garden. And this is actually in our Master Gardener demonstration gardens, but serviceberry, Amelanchier, and
this was another one of our sponsors, the Gift of Modern Woodmen. They gave us 17 trees, mulch for it. They also put in an office and a bathroom at the back of Town Hall for us. You know, we tried to work with everybody. So
We'll come out and see us. Wilson County Master Gardeners. I'm Lucas Holman. This is Carol Willingus. So come out if you have any questions.
And I'm here with Lori Ford at Creek Mercantile. And we've got some sales going on inside the store, so come out and visit. And they have a puppy.
Yes,
They have a puppy dog. Who's your puppy dog?
Miss Maggie, and a lot of the customers know her. They come in looking for Miss Maggie. She comes to work with me. Maggie, we say, is our chief greeter.
I like that better than the greeters that you have at most stores. She's precious. Because you are a destination shopping place, we're going to take a look. Now, I do know that because if anybody has ever been on Briley Parkway and you see the signs for Hidden Acres Farm, that is Lori's family, the Eakes family, that has been a Donelson treasure for a long, long time. But animals are a big part of what you do, so you have all sorts of cute little puppy dog things.
Well, this is Maggie's corner.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't made her sign yet, but these are items that Maggie likes to showcase in the shop. And so we always have a lot of animal related items. Whether some are vintage, some artwork, some little puppies and kittens, all sorts of goodies for our animal lovers.
I love it. Take a look at some of these beautiful, oh my gosh. It's just all the country flair.
Yeah, I like vintage but mixed with new, and that's what everybody does today. You know?
Absolutely.
So that's what we try to do, is show you how to mix in those vintage items that you love or that your grandmother had and it's passed down to you, and mix it with something and make it functional today in your own decor. So that's what we like to do. We like to refinish pieces and make them new and functional again.
Did you paint these chairs?
I did paint these chairs. These are Chiavari chairs that you see a lot at catered events, those bamboo chairs.
Right.
And then I paired it up with, this is an antique table that was an estate sale find that I refinished the top and painted the legs. So it's it can be a great dining room table. It could be a great sofa table behind your sofa because it's a drop leaf. So it has the drop on both sides. This side is up and that's down. So you can make it as wide or as skinny as you need it to be.
Get a little shot of Maggie there. I love red.
Well,
Red.
this little kitchen just spoke red to me. So this is the original kitchen to the house. And we just took the cabinet doors off and painted red and used it as display space.
You know, there are a lot of places, I always say, instead of buying new cabinets, this is a great idea that you could take kind of maybe a dated cabinet door and take it off.
Yes.
And just turn it into something a little bit more display oriented. If you've got pretty dishes, show them off.
Absolutely.
Oh, let's take a look at that. We were just talking about that from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I didn't even realize we had a paint company here. The Blackberry paint brand.
That's right. We try to keep you stocked up with sample sticks that you can take home to match your colors if you're trying to decide what color, but obviously running low on a lot of those. But yeah,
Look at all these pretty blues too, speaking of blue, but look at all these different greens.
Yes.
I love that, and the pretty pinks.
So you always can put together your daddy's tractor. If you like to do projects and crafts, we've got your daddy's tractor and your June bug. They'd be perfect Christmas colors. So,
and you know what I love? Look at these cans. Those cans, after you finish using them, would be really cool with some dried hydrangeas in them.
yeah, you're right.
You
That's a
know,
great
I
idea.
love it. I just love it. Oh, look at this.
Isn't that cute?
And a lot of people, especially men, get freaked out over painting wood furniture.
I know.
But I'm telling you, it gives it a new life.
Well,
That is
you know, I do
fantastic.
believe that there's some antique pieces that are just gorgeous as they are, and you don't need to do anything to them. But then there's that piece that speaks to you, but it really needs some work, you know. And so you give it a new life, and it's functional for you for another 50 years.
Absolutely. Well, what is this?
This is just a winged bowl. It's just very unique.
Like a chip and dip
Yeah,
kind of a
use
thing,
it,
or
put put you a glass bowl in here that you can put some dip in, and you can sit your crackers or your chips out here.
Oh my gosh, how pretty. Oh my goodness. And just art pieces
Yes.
that he's just, that's a real gift to be able to turn a bowl out of just a piece of wood. This is incredible. And I love this room divider back here. This is,
And that's kind of unique.
yeah.
I think it would be appropriate in a bedroom, but it's an estate sale find.
Or just
Art.
art.
Yeah, and even a picture frame like this where it's missing a little on the corner or it's missing some of the design down here, take this and paint it and just hang it on the wall as it is, and then hang a smaller frame inside of it.
Oh, yes.
So I just love the old stuff, and there's so many things you can do with it.
I love it.
You ready? 3, 2.
This one is so important. I wanted to get this for my own self so I could take this because I have cut myself so bad working with butternut squash. Tell us a little bit about how we don't cut ourselves when we do butternut squash.
Well, you have to think about it from country logic. If something is giving you a problem, then you want to solve that issue. And if it's hard, how do you make it soft? You're going to put it in a pot of boiling water. You don't need to salt the water. You don't need to do anything else to it. Just make sure that the pot of water is big enough that this guy can go down in it.
Okay.
Put a lid on it, bring it up to a boil. Depending on the size of the squash, this was a big one, it's going to cook about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay? After it cooks about 10 minutes, you see, look, the skin wants to come right off. Done. Just a regular vegetable peeler. You're peeling your squash.
Oh my goodness.
So easy. And then after the peel is off, or even if I didn't take the peel off, we'll use this side right here. And I'll grab the knife. The knife goes right in it. Just so easy. You can go all the way down. And you got your squash.
That's funny.
And don't try to cut through the knob. That's another thing that a lot of people do. Just go ahead and sacrifice that. Take it off. Because this is like cutting through a tree trunk, even after you have tried to boil it down. So just take it off. So much easier. And then just take your knife down through, and you got squash.
Oh, that's just
You can
wonderful.
grab your spoon, scoop out the seeds, put that in your compost bin, come back and peel the rest of it.
Okay, after you boil it, here's the crazy question. Can you save those seeds and plant those seeds?
Yes, because you have not cooked this all the way through. You see, this is still a harder flesh down the middle of this. We've just taken, you can see the cooking line right here. So the seeds should still be viable in this. Now, if it is roasted all the way through or boiled all the way through, no, you can't use those seeds.
But now just a little parboil on it, and you can save the seeds, let them dry, and plant them next season. Oh, that's awesome. Welcome to the Devons table. I'm Devin O'Day.
I'm Sylvia Ganier.
We are at Green Door Gourmet in the Green Door Gourmet kitchen with the luscious Green Door Gourmet produce. And we're brought to you by Amber Falls Winery in Hampshire, Tennessee, with a tasting room at Opry Mills Mall. They bring you this show about lifestyle, living your best lifestyle at home.
Yes, things delicious, beautiful, kind, and generous.
See, I love all that. We're going to be right back with more of that.
Good morning, guys. Today I dug up 2 cabbages and let's take a look at how it goes. I grew them right over here in the garden and I just pulled them up, knocked the dirt off the roots. They are looking beautiful. Let's see. You can see where it's darker right in there. I've been checking them to see if they were ready. They're definitely ready. This is what they look like when you pull all the leaves off. These are kind of tough, so I'm not going to feed them to the chickens. It's pretty easy. They come right off. They just snap off. If you like cabbage, there's nothing better than cabbage growing yourself. It's got a different flavor. It's just amazing. So now, 2 cabbages where taking the leaves off. Now I'm going to take my trusty loppers and chop off the stem. Now I have 2 beautiful cabbages. Just look at that. You can get those little plants at your local big box store when they're little, put them in the ground. You really don't have to do anything with them. And then next thing you know, they've gotten big enough, as long as you check to make sure they're good and firm, then you'll have amazing cabbages. Hope you guys have a great Sunday morning. Bye.
Welcome to the Nashville Parade of Homes tour. We're standing in a home that I designed for Legend Homes. This home is absolutely beautiful. It's a little over 9,000 square feet, and as soon as you walk in the door, you're immediately entered into the outdoor living space. So where we're at right now is in the central foyer, and you come into the luxury lounge. In this home, our goal was to create an environment where the house is constantly interacting with the outdoor of the home. So we're really trying to bring the outdoor area in. As we kind of go through this tour, you'll see that all of the amazing views of the pool and the outdoor living space, this house is truly meant for entertaining. So in this space, you can see the spectacular lighting, the floor to ceiling doors that go out to the living space, and all of the natural elements in this room. Also, when you first walk in, you'll start to notice some really great local artist piece from Cassidy Cole and Sarah Ella. All of these pieces work really well together in the space and kind of create this very natural but warm environment. So walking in to this first bedroom, this is actually a guest bedroom. So many folks are really surprised when we say that this is the guest because it looks more like a primary suite. You have the soaring 24-foot ceilings in this room, this huge arch window. It just creates this beautiful backdrop of the outdoor living and outdoor landscaping. This is one of my favorite bathrooms in the home. This beautiful marble tile with this really beautiful shades of green and gold that go throughout, and it kind of echoes the brass toe kick and these warm wood tones in the bathroom. The space came together really nicely. Moving on to the primary suite, it again is another space where we have wraparound windows, beautiful natural light in this room. We wanted to bring in this natural Tennessee limestone on the headboard wall with these case archistone details, but then soften everything with kind of the light linens, and we have these really beautiful handmade leather chandeliers on either side of the bed. So it just kind of softens everything with the big drapes as well. When you have harder finishes and have kind of all of this natural light coming in through these windows. So moving into the primary bathroom, we actually have this really great coffee bar in this space. So you really don't even have to leave this part of your home when you first wake up in the morning. When you walk in, you have this beautiful glass shower with these slabs of decked-in porcelain on either side. They create a really beautiful backdrop for the shower, and your eye immediately goes straight through to the tub area. We actually designed this fluted detailing that is shown on the vanity walls on both sides and then wraps around the tub area as well. We also went with limestone flooring and a matte white finish on the tub, again, for just that really sleek but very modern and very soft feel overall. So this space is really great. It's not very large, but it has a ton of function in this small space. So all of these cabinets serve a function. This is for a pull-out liquor storage. We've got a beverage fridge, an ice machine, and then one of my favorite things is this is actually a pull-out for recycling. So all of your wine bottles and leftover cans, things like that, can all be sorted and put away. We also have a really large conditioned wine area. All of these brass shelves were handmade by a local artisan, and this is a really great space where you can kind of condition your wine and choose your temperature that you prefer it to be set at. This is one of my absolute favorite spaces in the house. I'm a home cook, so this kitchen is an absolute dream. As soon as you walk in, you immediately notice the grand feel of the space. We have this beautiful arched window that you saw earlier in the guest bedroom. Beautiful Tennessee limestone with kind of that messy mortar on it, the archistone detailing around the window, and then when you look up, you have this beautiful stained pine ceiling. We also have these really beautiful arched, kind of willow tree inspired chandeliers that were custom designed for this project. All of the beautiful white oak cabinetry, the quartz countertops. On this particular entertaining island, I wanted to do something a little bit different and do a half waterfall. So we've seen in the past kind of this waterfall edge that goes all the way down to the floor. This one we kind of stopped at halfway just to give you a little bit of a different look. We have a ton of drawer space with all this really neat brass strapping details, a brass toe kick that is illuminated along the bottom, and then these really beautiful pot rails that are really functional but also very pretty in the space. So underneath of this large window, a 36-inch sink would just not do. So two people can actually work at the sink at the same time. All of the galley sinks, they come with all these different accessories, which are really neat. So you have colanders and cutting boards and all these different gadgets. So two home chefs can really get in here and create something great. So in the dining room, we typically have spaces where we have walls or really neat ceiling treatment, and we tend to put trim or wallpaper in those places. With having kind of this floating dining table in the middle of the kitchen and the great room, we really had to be impactful with the light fixture. This was actually custom designed, and we worked with a local artisan on the brass canopy detail that's on the top, and also brought down kind of this tray ceiling feature in this space, and that just helps it to kind of define the room a little bit and create almost like an art installation above your dining table. We have a really amazing swim up bar over here, which is really fun for entertaining. You can actually walk across this catwalk. We have a spa on this side and then a tanning ledge at the far end of the pool. What's really beautiful about this outdoor space is you still interact with all of the indoor spaces as well. So as you look around, you'll see the primary suite, the study, the luxury lounge, and the great room immediately, and it feels like you're still kind of inside. You have ice machine, beverage fridge, keg, large grill, a big green egg, all of the things that you would absolutely need to throw a really fabulous party in this home.
Follow Nashville Interiors on YouTube.
Hi, my name's JC, and I'm going to show you how to bunch some red Russian kale. So right now we have a cover crop of kale, just broadcast. And so I go down and I can break the leaves down around the base of plants. And I like to find the biggest leaves, and then bunch them in my left hand, getting a nice kind of tight bunch. So I've got a nice bunch, and I kind of choke up on the stalks there. I take my tie, right around there, nice and tight. We're gonna have tight bunches. We don't want them to fall apart. A bunch of red Russian kale.
Pumpkins, pumpkins, pumpkins everywhere. Pumpkins, if you want to say it correctly. But
Pumpkin.
Pumpkin. It's pumpkin time. And there's do you have a pumpkin patch here at Green Door Gourmet?
So we grow all different kinds of gorgeous things. We work with a lot of other fellow farmers that grow specialty pumpkins. Now, this is not a specially grown pumpkin. This had to magically happen.
Oh, let's give a shout out to one of the best pumpkin artisans in the whole world. And he's right here in Middle Tennessee.
Yes. Lundy Cupp is the most wonderful, fun, creative guy. And he has that ability. I think Marcus Hummon wrote a song about looking at the tree and seeing the rocking horse that was in the tree that someone carved.
Right.
Lundy has that ability to look at something, whether it's a sweet potato or a pumpkin, and find the image. And he names each one of the pumpkins, and they all become a little part of his legacy for this beautiful carving. But he also carves encyclopedias and wood. But my favorite time of year is when he stops by to carve some pumpkins for us here at Green Door.
I love it. This one looks hungry.
He's hungry.
He's hungry.
Okay, there you go.
Maybe that's so you can see his face. Oh my gosh. He's eating the little pumpkin. You know, if you go to the Kingston Springs library, Kingston Springs was hit by a tornado. And if you go outside the library, the big tree that was out front was left, and the top was completely sawed and left this very high stump, and he carved it into a little man. And it's beautiful, and it's all set, and it became a sculpture now instead of something that the storm left. He always finds beauty in the ashes. But let's talk a little bit about the different kinds of pumpkins.
So this is a traditional jack-o'-lantern style pumpkin. Some people call this a Howden style pumpkin. It has more of a flat surface, and if you're going to do elaborate carving work, you want more flat than the Cinderella kind of ridges. They're more difficult to use. If you see the blue pumpkins, or sometimes you'll see a pink pumpkin, you might see ones that look like that peanuts growing out of them.
Yes, I've seen those.
All those are delicious and edible. So have them out on your porch, enjoy the beauty of them, and when they start to look like, oh, you might start to look a little sad, don't let them be sad forever. Just go ahead and enjoy them. Cut them open, roast them down just like you would a butternut squash or anything else, and you have pumpkin to make pumpkin curry or pumpkin ravioli or filling or soup or whatever else you want.
I love pumpkin season. One of the favorite things that we used to do was fried pumpkin. And we did it just like a squash or anything down. And we would do it with butter and sugar and cinnamon, and we would cook it down and just fry it down, fried pumpkin. And it was a mash. It was the inside part of the pumpkin. It wasn't in cubes or anything. Oh, it was so good. It was one time a year when we had our pumpkins.
It sounds great.
Every meal I wanted fried pumpkin.
Now pumpkin freezes really well. So if you got one of those nice big blue pumpkins, they give you a lot more meat, say, than a pumpkin like this.
Okay.
This, by the time you get the seeds and everything out, there's just a very thin layer. It's meant more for hollow, this particular variety of pumpkin. But the edible pumpkins, the Cinderellas and the fairy tales of whatever color they might happen to be, are going to give you more meat, and you can freeze that pumpkin and have fried pumpkin all through the winter, not this one time of year.
I love it. I love it. I until now I didn't realize you could eat the white pumpkins and the blue pumpkins and the different color pumpkins.
They're all orange inside.
See, it's just like people. We all the same on the inside. except for those evil people that are out there. But we're not going to talk about them.
No. He'll eat them.
Yeah. Peter, evil people eater.
Well, it's so nice to have a friend join us today, Devon.
I know, it really is. You can check out Lundy Cupp's work in the next story.
There are just a few pumpkins left at the pumpkin patch at Sovine Farms in Kingston Springs. It's mostly picked over by mid-October.
You know, if it takes 90 days for from germination to harvest, I usually plant about 15 days later than that. But typically, when everybody's out enjoying the 4th of July weekend, I'm out here dropping seeds.
That's because Jim Sovine, yes, grandson of the Red Sovine of the 1976 hit Teddy Bear fame, has put most of his in boxes, ready to be placed at different pumpkin patches around the Nashville area.
Most of these are good for cooking, like these Cinderellas.
And I want to tell you, I love to make pumpkin pie, but most of his pumpkins are for decorative purposes, although he does have some that I'm going to turn into some pumpkin puree and make my own pumpkin pie. But what I want to show you today is what an artist in Kingston Springs can do with these gorgeous gourds.
I don't gut the pumpkins. I just scrape them. They last a little longer if they're not gutted.
Lundy Cupp is a carver.
I love going to pick out fruits and veggies, and especially pumpkins.
I call it horticulture, a marriage between art and agriculture. He can take pumpkins, vegetables, and timber and turn it into works of art. He even carves sweet potatoes and stores them in jars filled with vinegar to help them last longer.
The most fun thing is just to see who shows up. Literally, I know I'm the one doing it, but I really have no idea. That's my favorite aspect of what I do.
Cupp moved to Music City as a professional musician. After a few years of playing and also being a fraud investigator on the side, he took up the hobby of carving, a talent he really didn't know he had.
Started carving just because the stress was so intense, and it was real good therapy.
The pumpkins with personalities are some of his favorite projects, even though he knows this type of artwork will soon disappear.
Try to take good photos of them, and to me that's part of the coolness of doing pumpkins, and something that is so ephemeral. It's going to be gone in a few days.
Hello, I'm Natalie. I'm in the blackberry plots, and I just want to give you a little bit of information about what some of the most common fall tasks are going to be for your caneberries, blackberries specifically. So, as we move through summer in our blackberry production, we will have first-year canes, which we call primocanes, that are primarily vegetative, and when they get above our wires here on our trellis system, lots of times we'll pinch the ends of those off. We like to do it with our hands when it's nice and soft and succulent. And if you're familiar with pinching and the whole concept of pruning, what we really want is to induce laterals on those canes, right? Because these are going to be where we're really going to get the bulk of our bearing for next year. So that's kind of a task that takes place through the growing season, because at any given time, there are a range of primocane, maturity, growing, and that also depends on the cultivar. So that's something that kind of takes place through the season. And what we have is actually small clips that we use on our trellis system here. This is monofilament. It's actually a plastic instead of a high tensile wire. But managing those plants on the trellis system is something that's important to do from summer all the way in to fall. Of course, also you'll want to manage your water. It's especially important for berry fill, and if you have any primocane fruiting types, then you'll want to make sure that you manage that water through the later part of the summer and early fall, which can be very dry. The other important thing that we're doing this time of year are sanitation tasks. And if you look at these plants, you might be thinking, wow, I think I mostly see young canes. Those all look like primocanes to me. And that's true, because we've actually come in and removed the floricanes already. So this was a cane that grew last year. It bore this spring in June. This is Natchez behind me. There's a 4 cane fruiting type, and then it died back down. And lots of times when you see information about how to manage blackberries, they will instruct you that removing floricanes is a mid-winter or an early spring task. That's not wrong, but oftentimes what we prefer is after the canes die down, just get them out of there as fast as possible. In fact, I specifically saved this one to show because we actually have a canker here where we can see a little bit of fungal infection potentially. This could be inoculum for young primocanes around it. So we want to get these out as soon as possible, continue to trellis and train and manage these plants so that we have the best, healthiest canes for next year to support the most production that we can out of our crops.
Amber Falls Winery offers all kinds of wines, and it's not just for drinking. It is for adding to pot roast and wonderful meat dishes. It pairs with cheese at a wine and cheese party beautifully. Plus, there are flavors and different kinds that work with fish and red meats. There are some that work with seafood beautifully, and pairings for desserts and salads. And there's an entire flight of different seasonal flavors too. You might want something that will pair with a holiday meal. They've got it at Amber Falls Winery. Beautiful flavors, beautiful vintages, and wonderful award-winning wines of all sorts. Amber Falls Winery in Hampshire, Tennessee, and also with a tasting room in Opry Mills Mall.
So right here we're processing the red Russian kale. So we've dumped it into our nice big 100-gallon Rubbermaid full of nice cool water, and so this kind of just gives it a nice rinse, also kind of like hydrates it a little bit and it'll keep it fresher longer. And then we're going to cut the ends off here, give it a nice good look to it, good for the grocery market shelf. And then we're going to place it into a box over here.
Thank you for joining us for Devon's table and Sylvia's table, because Green Door Gourmet is where you can find the produce we talk about, the meats we talk about, the herbs and all the goodness and the prepared foods, and the wine, Amber Falls Winery. It's located in Hampshire, Tennessee, if you want to go, close to the actual source and see the grapes on the vine, or you can go to the tasting room at Opry Mills Mall or join their wine club and have it shipped to you wherever you are. We are here each and every week, and we are so glad that you are too. Remember, follow, subscribe, and share. And if you're looking for a blessing, remember, you got to first be one.